Good day everyone, my name is Tenebroso, the Ed3. So today I am here to share my activities on the following domains of the best theory I chose, which is constructivist theory. Domains. First, number and number sense. Build number sense by matching numbers to quantities. Complete number puzzles that have a different numbers representation in each piece. They help kids see that numbers can be modeled in many ways. So in that way, teacher provides materials for kids to count and connect with objects and numbers. This encourages children to see that numbers are more than words. Teach children that numbers have many representations such as dots, fingers, counters, numerals, objects, time frames, and etc. So in the activity of number puzzle, children would identify which is the correct match or the missing piece of the puzzle. Children will develop their analyzing skills on finding the right piece of the missing piece of the given item. So in the activity, it helps children visualize numbers and number sense. In a unique and interesting way of giving children activity like puzzle, the children also develop and construct strategies on how they figuring out the right answer. Children also develop and construct their critical thinking skills on their visualize and count numbers as they solve the puzzle. Teach numbers by giving them guides as they figure out the missing piece of the puzzle. I have here a sample picture for you to be guided what number puzzle looks like. This picture represented how number puzzle activity works and looks like. So this activity suits on my best theory, which is the constructivist theory, because this activity can be done with a group or even in a single child. It is more interesting and enjoying way of learning as well as playing because children develops the domain of number and number sense over time as a result of opportunities to apply with as they construct ideas on their minds. Second is measurements. Activity measuring with objects. Make measuring fun by using different items to measure with. Instead of getting a measuring material such as ruler and measuring how long the pencil is, give the children a thing that can also use to measure the length of the pencil. Children can use candy, blocks, or anything to measure the pencil. This activity of measuring with objects helps children to enhance their thinking skills as what they experience measuring the pencil with different kinds of objects. They can construct ideas and find some strategies on how it can be measured as they uses a variety of resources to find solutions and answers on how they can measure the pencil itself. So I have a sample picture here on the activity I was referring with. The picture presented a pencil measured by using a paper clip. So by this activity, constructivist theory gives a big role on the domain of measurement because it allows children to deepen their knowledge beyond their learnings. It helps children to figure it out and allows them to construct ideas on how they can make a specific thing in a creative and interesting way. The third one is geometry. Activity, making two-dimensional shapes activity. On this activity, which is the two-dimensional shape activity, we will use colored popsicle stick to form the 2D shapes with straight sides. Leave them in a center for kids to put together independently. They can work on in a group for them to have a collaboration as well as build ideas for them to make shapes. So in geometry, the first stage in learning is being able to identify, name, and describe two-dimensional shapes. So in this activity, children can make their own shape as they explore their imagination on how they can build the shape with. Kids can construct and visualize shapes by using the given colored popsicle sticks. By exploring and examining those popsicle sticks to make shapes, they can make shapes by using their knowledge and idea to build with the guide of the teacher. So I have a sample picture on the activity, which is making two-dimensional shapes. In this activity, children can make trial and error as they can achieve the final result of the activity. Children are able to create shapes and encourage us to create by their own way of learning. Fourth is pattern and algebra. Activity learning patterns. Kids love to have fun when they're learning. One way to have fun when teaching patterning is with a good game or hands-on activity. Children can work individually or join together into a group and help identifying patterns with game. So the activity for pattern and algebra is learning pattern. Teacher will give the children a worksheet or printable words for the teaching tool for pattern. The children will identify whether which comes up next in this pattern. So the printables and worksheets provide an opportunity to learn and master math skills such as patterns for children. They will figure it out what comes up next by analyzing and visualizing the pictures that the sequence presented. So I have a sample picture here for the activity, which is learning patterns. So, this activity helps children to find solution in the missing or the next object or shapes that will give the answer. Children able to construct on their minds what comes up next as they investigate the sequence presented. So in this activity, constructivist theory is better in this domain because children are able to construct and make their own ideas as they observe and experiment things through visualizing and identifying the next thing that would on the pattern to be completed. The last domain is statistics and probability. Activity, more likely and less likely activity. Children will have an activity wherein they will identify which is more likely and less likely in the given probability worksheet. Children will identify which has the more likely and less likely in the worksheet, which has lots of same objects on the asked probability problem. So in relate on the constructivist theory, children can examine the given sheets for them to figure it out the correct collection of the shapes. Children bring prior knowledge into a situation in which they can critique and re-evaluate their understanding on it. So by this activity, children can identify the differences, especially on the kindergarten kids. They can differentiate the differences and choose the more likely on the given sheet. So I have a sample picture on the activity I was referring with, which is the more likely and less likely activity. So in this activity, children are able to predict on the differences on the answers as they identify and understand where it will be placed on, whether it will be on more likely or in the other place, which is the less likely one. And that's all for this video. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye!